Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second episode of Honey, I Shrunk My Dick Again. This is my cast, Magic Potato, Dio, Hans, and Tio.
Yeah.
Except that last one's actually me.
Pedantic piece of shit. Let's begin.
I got a story before we start talking about topics.
Sure.
So I fucking found out earlier this week a fucking stray cat got into our house. I shit you not, by crawling through a vent and falling in. There was a fucking vent exit. It was cold out in the, which we let them into our garage so they don't get too cold. So just like we're not cruel people, but like this thing was at the back of our house and it was kind of cold. There was a vent exit there. It pried the fucking vent open. It crawled in. And you know in those action movies when someone's crawling through a vent and the vent breaks and they land in the middle of a room of like, you know, guards? That fucking it was the dumbest fucking thing. This fucking stray cat comes in, it just fucking bolts. It's like, nope, later nerds, and it hides under our steps. So it's just hiding in the gaps of all those boxes underneath the steps. So we've been trying to get it out for a week straight.
Are you feeding it?
What?
Are you feeding it?
Yeah, well, we tried to starve it out, but it didn't work, and it just steals food from our other
it's your cat now.
It basically is. I don't know. There's always the 22 option, but we'll get to that when it comes to that.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Well,
you gotta get her. You gotta have to get it shots and get it tagged.
Yeah, get it shot.
We did. We got it. We did that with all the stray cats around our house. We got them fixed, and we got them fucking. You know, we got them shots.
A good home.
Yeah. The only problem is that this asshole just crawled in through a fucking vent.
Bruh.
That's just fucking solid snaked into your house.
Bruh, that's like a fucking big goo. You know what else is a big goo? Fucking China right now.
Yes.
Moving on to our next topic.
Our first topic, you stupid LARPer.
Eat my ass. Moving on to our first topic. The first topic, the coronavirus. Holy shit. Yo, this is actually some pretty scary shit. Have you heard that masks, they're selling out fucking everywhere now?
Oh, the masks are pointless.
Everyone's already fucking infected.
Well, it's not even the infected.
Won't stop the virus. You need like
the problem is that like those medical masks that you see all the time, like the white ones or the light blue ones, those are to prevent you from spreading germs. They don't prevent you from intaking germs because they have very poor sealing around the side and there's like no filtration on them.
Yeah, if it's air spread, it's not gonna matter.
It doesn't mean anything. The best ones are like the medical 3M masks, right? The ones with the little filters on the side.
Because of how small the virus is.
Oh yeah. No, he's right. But the problem is that I actually watched a thing talking about it, and they were saying that like even then, like most doctors recommend you don't do that because those ones are designed for doctors who have them personally fitted, so they have a tight air seal around the mouth, and they're also designed for short-term use because those are very small filters. They burn out quick. So if you wear them for a whole day, like you only have like at most an 80% chance, and within like the first like 3-4 hours, it
at that point you're just fucking hotboxing yourself. You're just trapping the germs inside the mask.
Oh, by the way, the disease is practically airborne. You can get it transmitted through your eyes now.
Oh yeah,
that's fucking
that
great.
Too.
So if someone's just coughing in the air and you walk through that air, you're fucking infected.
They wasted no fuck. Just like with the Ebola virus, they wasted no fucking. 4chan wasted no time making fucking memes and waifus. We got fucking Corona-chan. Look at this shit.
It's actually pretty quality.
I wouldn't mind her serving me some bat soup. That'd be pretty good.
Listen, it's got the fucking.
Yo, have you guys seen fucking bat soup?
What's that?
No, I haven't.
Gross. It's like a whole bat. Like, they don't even, like, skin it or anything. They just cook it.
Yeah.
Like, they keep the teeth and everything.
All I picture are those fucking, you know, those bottles of liquor where they have the pear or something, you know, where when it's, like, a tiny sprout, they put it in the bottle and they let it grow. Or they let, like, you know, some sort of bushel or, you know, piece of something grow inside the bottle, then they cut it off. And it's just like I just picture a dead bat in a bottle of wine or something. Just like
No.
It's just in soup.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like straight up just in broad. Like this fucking bat is smiling at you.
Smile.
Honestly, like that's probably not the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Like, have you guys ever seen snake wine? That's pretty fucking gnarly. Where it's literally they just put whole fucking snakes and they ferment wine in it. It's like really fucking wild. Apparently, it's really good for your dick though. So hey,
I guess maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the venom.
yeah, that's literally it.
Why don't they just put snake venoms in it then?
I don't know, man. Like
A snake
apparently
bit
it's
my
something
dick
about.
and now I have an erection.
Apparently it's something about the meat and the
unending
venom or
erection.
some shit.
Yo,
I don't know.
I just wanted to kiss my girlfriend, but she got corona.
Damn.
Yo, I saw the Corona bottles on your shelf, and I said,
Oh,
"Fuck off."
okay. So, here's some, spicy facts. Confirmed countries infected: China, Japan, Thailand, South Korea, United States, Taiwan, Macau, Hong Kong, Singapore, Vietnam, France, Nepal, Australia, Malaysia, Saudi Arabia, Canada, and Pakistan.
Don't forget the.
All right,
Okay,
guys.
See, it makes sense that Japan was infected because we already have the corona waifus.
Philippines is unconfirmed.
Got it.
Nah, alright guys, you know what it's time for? According to all my years of playing Pandemic, we must move to Greenland.
Yes, Greenland.
Everybody's be like, Greenland, bruh, Madagascar.
Ah, no, this guy's on it. Yeah. Greenland or Madagascar. I don't know, I'm actually pretty surprised it made it to Canada. I think it
Dude,
was
the best
just
place,
No,
yesterday.
it made it to Canada, not surprisingly, considering the large amount of Chinese Canadians.
Dude, the best place to
Well,
go in an apocalypse,
yeah, I
if you
guess
can
that's a
make
good
it there,
point.
is fucking Switzerland. They have these fucking EMP resistant bunkers there. It's so fucking stupid. Switzerland had the dumbest defenses in World War II. They just started dismantling some of them. But my dream is to own a fucking Swiss bunker. The government was literally giving them away for free because they had so many EMP bomb resistant bunkers that they didn't know what to do with. They were like, we really just want people to take these. We really just want people to like be like, here's a fucking bunker. We don't know what to fucking do with them anymore.
Bruh.
That's how many fucking bunkers they had in World War II. They were like, our entire civilization is going to survive.
Fortress Switzerland.
Well, yeah, that's because Switzerland was like, well, we have the Allies to the left and the Nazis to our right. Let's just
And here I
They
am,
have some mountains
stuck
to the back
in the
of us.
middle
Fuck
with
it.
you.
Yeah, let's just turn the entire fucking mountainside we live in into a fucking bunker. Have you seen like the Swiss like military training? They
Yeah, bro,
teach
Swiss-
their jet pilots to turn highways into makeshift runways.
Actually,
yeah.
actually, the Truman Doctrine in the United States can do that too.
Yeah,
How we
well,
built our highways.
but the thing is that like, imagine how much of a mad lad you have to be to try to land a fucking plane moving at like 250 to 300 kilometers an hour on a tiny fucking highway strip in some fucking mountains. I understand it in the States because like your highways are fucking massive and you have open ground all around, but you're doing this on a fucking essentially mountain pass. I'm just like, yo, the Swiss are crazy.
I mean, yeah, the Swiss are crazy, which is probably
That's
don't know
probably
how
why
this
nobody
ties
fucks
into
with the Swiss.
coronavirus.
I just picture like a fucking airport patrol, like a fucking air tower control or whatever. Just be like, Whiskey 6, we're gonna need you to make a direct U-turn around that mountain before you fucking land your plane right in the middle of this ongoing traffic section.
Oh, by the way, Russia just declared a no-fly zone from China.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. For the longest time, Russia has been kind of like no fly. That actually, fun fact: did you know that Russia only lets one official air traffic like company or like one plane line from each nation fly over their airspace? It's very rare for you to get two national airlines flying through their airspace.
Yeah. Well, no, that was during the Soviet Union.
No, even now,
Oh.
because Russia's such a massive country, and so many routes can be shortened by flying over them. One of the ways they exercise their soft power is by controlling how many airlines and which airlines can fly through their airspace.
You think it's really
It's
just
actually
a
a
power play?
big problem. Well, yeah, it is, because, like, the thing is that, let's be real here, the important part of Russia is, like, the Eastern European part. But they have this massive, long, like, dongle that's hanging off of it over China, and all of that is technically their airspace, even though their population that lives there is practically non-existent. It's all tundra. Like, nothing fucking lives up there. But because, like, it's a part of Russia, you know, if you want to fly over that, you know, you need Russian permission. Unless you want to get, like, you know, an S-400 up your ass and get blown out of the sky.
S-400.
Bend over, son. Oh, we got off.
Speaking of being blown out of the sky, let's move on to our next topic.
We got off before. I just want to finish this off. We got off topic before we got to this, but anybody see the fucking? How does it directly?
Oh yeah, the Shanghai Biotech.
Yeah,
fucking pics going up now.
So I'm gonna have a picture of that on screen.
Oh yeah,
what does this remind you of?
Right? It's called the Shanghai Rulan Baohausan Biotech Limited.
Oh, fun fact about Baohausan, that translates right into fucking umbrella.
It literally is like Umbrella Tech Company or something like that. Look at this shit.
China, what the fuck are you doing?
China's behind the virus. Alright.
Honestly, that's pretty fucking memey.
It's
Anyways,
pretty golden.
Speaking of being blown out of the sky, other fucking very recent move, just reported not even an hour ago. You guys know what happened, right? Somebody else got fucking blown out of the sky.
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant has recently perished in a helicopter
Recently,
crash.
as in not even 20 minutes before we fucking started recording. Like, holy shit.
That is fucking crazy. How does that happen?
Like, I don't even watch
Holy
basketball,
shit.
but god damn it.
I want to hear more from this story. How is that possible? Like,
Kobe Bryant didn't use his full power. He was suppressed. He
didn't
just
use the chaos stuff.
Helicopter starts going down. Nani!
Yeah, they didn't use the chaos stuff.
Man, but that really is a shame, though. Like, apparently he went down, and 3 other people who have not been reported yet died in the crash, which is a massive shame. Because, like, apparently, Kobe Bryant has 4 daughters, so like he's leaving a lot of people behind.
Yeah, people said that his kid had been on the flight with him.
Damn.
So, like, the media's not covering it, but it's rumored, and they're just not talking about the.
Well, not covering because it's, like we said, just happened.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
And the problem is that there are no survivors. So, like, this is like, yo.
N is for no survivors. What the fuck did you? Oh, that's the bat shit. Look at this kid playing with a fucking dead wet bat.
No, that's the bat they put in bat suit.
Motherfucking Grim just called me. Hold on.
Yeah, he keeps trying to fucking call me. He called me. I said I'm busy.
I have to decline. It's not going to mess up the recording because it's not going to be my desktop audio. Can somebody DM him and tell him that we're all recording? That we're all recording a podcast?
Yeah, I'll fucking DM him. Bro, he's DM'd me. Bro, I bet no one came to your D&D session last night, Lamau. I mean, we had a full game, but whatever. Well, except for him.
Damn.
Big ass.
Drops the mic.
Bro, sorry, Grimbo, get fucked.
Gosh.
I don't know what's happening with that. We'll have to talk about that after the fact. What were the other video? We had some other time. Anybody else want to lead in with some other shit?
Oh, other than Kobe Bryant, dead at 41.
There was all that MXR. You guys see that shit about MXR mods?
The what?
MXR mods. It was this guy. It was a new fucking. So I actually watched this guy since I was really young because he has a lot of titties in his videos.
And he makes a lot of mods for Skyrim.
Yeah.
And Fallout.
But he fucking he does mods for Skyrim, and he started creating a reaction channel with his girlfriend because his girlfriend used to voice act for a mod that he covered on his channel. So like, you know, that's how they met, and they started doing reaction content. And this company called it was Junkin Media. They apparently they specialize in licensing viral clips, which in itself is a legal gray area. If you look at the court cases around it, some of these things technically can't really be copyrighted according to the Supreme Court. So they're already in a weird space. But they started Yeah, it started out as the typical. They get a copyright strike. Oh, one of the viral clips we listed was in your video, and it's like I think they were in danger of getting their channel taken down. Yeah, no, what it was they didn't copy strike them. They emailed them. I don't know if it was actually email, but they messaged them and they were like, "Hey, we're about to hit you with 3 copyright strikes and take your whole channel down if you don't pay us $1,500, or not just one, and not just per video, but for every viral clip they had that was in any of their videos, they needed to pay $1,500, which ended up being up to like, because I think there was like 2 in each or something like that, so I think it ended up being like $6,500, something stupid, and. They and they were like yeah, but you could have avoided this by just paying the license on our site, like the license fee on our site to own the videos, even though they were just doing reaction content and this is fair use, and they also wouldn't have been able. I don't think there's a Junkin Media, when you're licensed, they don't require you to put like a watermark on the video, so none of these, they would have had no idea which one of these clips would have been that. So it's like it's pretty fucked.
Once again, the copyright system is just.
Yeah, and they linked the other thing is they linked a legal case to MX as like basically as a damage control for the whole community, and it was a legal case that kind of pointed out as I'm trying to, where's the guy? The guy said, I think it's Lawful Masses with Leonard French. I'll link it in the description. There's a great video on it. But the legal case pointed to how these guys actually kind of had a legal case against Junkin Media. And it was mostly talking about fair use and how it applies to viral clips. So these guys were actually pretty much in the right. They had a legal case. The problem is these guys are fucking broke as hell. They don't have the time or money to go to fucking court. They end up. Long story short, they do end up coming to an agreement. I think they ended up paying them. Before I finish off this story, they actually paid them beforehand. They paid them $1,500 for a clip, and then Junkin Media comes back. This is why you don't fucking pay these people. These companies don't give a single fuck. You don't give into them at all.
The problem is that American law, there's a lot of really weird gray areas, and American law, instead of rewriting it, they do court cases based on previous cases. They base it on just word for it. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Case laws.
No, it's not case laws. It's on the law in America is like a brick wall, right? They build each case on top of previous cases. So, like, you can have a case that can be completely affected by a case that was, like, in the 1800s. It's based on preconceptions? No, it's based on...
Yo, Tio, I found a higher quality picture of Corona-chan.
Go ahead and post
but basically the problem is that because there are all these gray areas that, like, they haven't fought out in court yet, people can get away with dumb shit about this. Like, for example, patent squatting is actually a very, like, legal... It's a legal thing you can do, but it's a shitty thing, which is basically the same thing they're doing here. What they do is people write a fuck ton of patents that get passed for very vague things, and then people who actually make products, they get slapped by these random people going, yeah, I have the patent to that. Like, I remember there was this one really fucking retarded case where it basically said vaguely, like, a technology to communicate with other devices. And then it's like, yo, that's so broad. It could be anything from, like...
That's almost
that could be...
With the capability
of Wi-Fi, that could be internet, that could be
exists in fucking
Bluetooth.
2020. Oh my god.
So what they do is they threaten very, very expensive lawsuits. They're like, yo, we're going to hit you with a $500,000 fine. And then they settle out of court. And then they manage to get, like... They don't manage to get $500,000, but they can get $5,000, they can get $6,000, maybe even $10,000 out of that. And that's what they do. And that's a very common tactic. Like, you'll see that that's something that extends to debt collection now in the States. It's fucking horrible. Where, like, you'll have a debt that you haven't paid off, it's past due, and the collectors will come in and they'll be like, okay, because we're in charge of this, we're gonna do all the additional stuff, and you're gonna have to pay us $10,000. And then they just go, okay, you know, we don't want to settle this in court because that's too much work, so we'll just take one grand. You know, $1,000 sounds good. You know, 1/10 of it. It's what they do.
Yeah, come on, bro. Give me $1,000, bro. Give me $1,000. And then they'll like lower the price as you fucking are set.
But here's the thing, right? Like, if you actually know law, you'll know that, like, a lot of these debts are past the statute of limitation. There's a time period on debts. Once you go too much longer and the debt isn't collected or it isn't dealt with, then you can no longer collect on that. So if somebody's coming after you for a debt that was from, like, 20, 30 years ago, that's technically, they can't do that. While, like, legally, yes, they can, because they technically do own that debt. It's, you know, it's like, this is a lot of fuckery going on here. And that's kind of the problem, you know? It's especially with, like, have you seen, like, the whole music shit that's going on YouTube right now?
That is
it's fucking ridiculous. You put, like, you hum the fucking tune of, like, some of these songs, and they'll come at you after you.
Yeah.
They're fucking ravenous now.
Bro,
it's crazy.
They're fucking
ridiculous.
brutal. They don't give a fuck.
Ever since that, what was it?
That was the...
Who was that one former, George, what was his last name? He used the Beatles? Hold on. You know the song My Sweet Lord?
No.
Yeah.
Let me look it up. Yeah, George Harrison. Basically, what happened was he was a former Beatles member, and after he broke up, he went single, you know, and he had some fairly successful songs. However, one of the song "My Sweet Lord," it shared some vague similarities with another song from the '60s that no one heard about, and because the judge said, "Yeah, you unintentionally copied them."
How do you unintentionally copy someone?
Yeah,
dude,
that's what everyone said, but no.
You see the thing, who was it? Dude who plays bass who's so fucking amazing. It's not Davey. And I'll fucking link his video too. But there's this guy on YouTube I watch all the time. He was doing an analysis on the video for it was on the court case of the song Marvin Gaye. And they said it shared a similar chord pattern. Not similar chords, not a similar tone, but a similar pattern of chords. And it's like, he's like, at this part of the song, it has like G sharp, A, B. Those I'm just naming random notes, but it has like, he's like, it has these in the same order. And he's like, that's like if a writer patented adjective, pronoun, noun, adjective. It's like, can you, like, in that order, it's just like, can you copyright that? Can you own that?
No.
That's the problem with American law, right? Because, okay, think about it this way, right? Copyright, I'm going to start by saying something for all the viewers.
Now we're fucking talking about copyright laws.
I have a few things to say about this again,
this
too.
is a very important topic for
It's really important.
People of our world. It is incredibly important because think about it this way, right? Copyright law was originally created to defend people, creators, basically, who make things that are very difficult to make but very easy to copy, like music, plays, novels, right? Because it might take you like 10 years to write a book, but if I own a printing press, it takes me 10 seconds to print out 10 copies, like that, and I can sell as many as I want. You can get shafted. So copyright law is basically the government saying, all right, you get a monopoly on this. It's literally, by definition, a monopoly.
Yes, we've gone over this.
Only you are allowed to sell this.
Yes, we've gone over this.
But it's so fucked that if you think about it, right? It's supposed to be like after a certain period of time, it goes into commons, right? Anybody can use it, anybody can create and write it. But for media, since the 1970s, nothing has entered the commons. 1970s. That's fucking crazy. That is absurd.
That is, we're literally living in another fucking. We're literally past 2 fucking decades from that shit now.
It's 4 decades.
And nothing will enter the commons, basically until we're almost fucking dead.
Okay, we get that.
That is
pretty fucking.
that is insane. So while creators of the 1970s had stuff from like the past to work with, even fucking Disney had all those fucking fairy tales to work with. We will never in our lifetime be able to use anything from Star Wars. We will never be able to use anything from like Game of Thrones. You will never be able to legally do anything of that because of copyright laws, and that is so fucked.
Yeah,
like even if you waited like 5 decades, it'd still be copyright protected.
Okay.
Insane.
So we get it. It's pretty fucked. Pretty bad, dog, but I don't think people want to sit through a podcast without a bunch of
Pretty bad,
talking.
Chief.
He's pretty
Bad, Chief.
It's pretty bad. You know, we can't do anything about it because American bureaucracy is
we
so
can't really
fucked.
do anything about it. We kind of have
People
to just
wonder
go
why
with it.
I'm
It's
an
like, fuck
ANCAP.
you. I'm going to pirate the shit out of everything. That's the long and short of it. Fuck you.
Fuck
you, I won't do what you
Just
tell
pirate
me.
everything.
Yeah, so this is why everyone embraces piracy.
Speaking
you
of
can't be a
fucked
pirate,
American
bro. All
laws,
these
hey,
poor ass multi-million-dollar creators, bro. Think about them, you asshole.
Oh my god, you're not really hurting the
Yo, I
creator.
had someone send me like an entire paragraph about the ethics of pirating when I told them that I'm not paying Disney Plus for The Mandalorian.
Oh my god, that's so stupid.
Bro,
it's like,
fucking
look,
Disney. Who
look,
gives a shit?
it's Disney.
Exactly.
You
But
can
no,
bite
you
me.
can't do that. You have to support
Let
the
Potato
original
have the
creator.
floor.
The thing is that you're not hurting anybody.
Potato, go ahead.
You're not making money off of it.
I mean, okay, look, at the end of the day, like, piracy, I think the only real option that Americans have specifically is, like, privacy, because the legal system is, like, so incredibly fucked. I don't think it's that much better in Canada, but I mean, like,
Canada.
it's kind of just fuck. Yo.
Don't assume everything's better in Canada.
In Canada,
just because
yeah,
it's
in Canada they just ask you nicely to bend over.
Hey,
The
can you
problem-
Yeah,
please
they don't
bend
even.
over?
At least we give you a fair trial.
Exactly.
Canada has its own massive can of worms because they're a really weird combination of like European and American laws and legislation, and they have their own
Don't get me
insane amounts
started
of
on
fuckery.
those fucking Europeans.
I mean, okay, at least the Europeans, they have the fucking decency to just be like, okay, let's sit down and think of every possible
Oh no
situation.
The thing is-
Article 13. You can copyright links, bro.
The thing is that
The reason why
Europeans-
they have Article 13 is so the fuckery that we just discussed can't happen. Because
Yeah.
they're defining by law, okay,
But-
here's how copyright actually works for the Digital Millennium Act.
Yeah, but it absolutely fucks over every small creator.
People who don't understand
Yeah.
how copyright works, trying to define how copyright works.
Yeah, like Tio just summed it up perfectly. They don't know how the internet works, and they're trying to define how to copyright stuff on the internet.
Hey, I'm not saying it's good. I mean, I'm also
I'd
on the
rather have
fuck
the
Article
chaos
13.
copyright system of America
My
than have
one-
that. Then have that piece of shit Article 13 in
Yeah.
the United States.
My one issue with Europe and Europeans is that they just act superior to like anybody in North America. It's like, oh yeah, fucking everybody in the United States is fat and
Yo, I
disrespectful.
like how they talk shit about the United States, but I see them with the fucking American VPN.
Exactly.
Well, the thing is that, like, in my opinion, like, you kind of have the problem, right? You have some of them where their laws are so defined, they become nanny states. Like, the British have fucking laws on porn. Like, face sitting, that's illegal, because that's dangerous. Nigga, what the fuck?
Yeah, what the fuck?
If I want
What do you
fucking
mean?
mommy fat ass
What do you
to
mean?
fucking suffocate me with their massive pancakes, she gonna do it.
It's like, what gives you the right to have jurisdiction over what goes behind my closed doors in my bedroom?
Exactly.
Like,
I mean,
where
porn
is
addiction,
the thought
I mean,
process?
stopping out porn for porn addiction is pretty fucking base, but it's not for the reason.
Porn addiction is a whole other conversation. Let's
Okay.
have that in another let's have that in
Yeah,
another
let's have
podcast.
that. Let's have porn addiction.
I just
another
skip
day.
that period. But like, honestly, like, again, like, you're at the end of the day, you have to find this right balance, right? There's advantages to having very codified law for every scenario, because that means you can just be like, yeah, no, don't do dumb gray area bullshit, because that gray area is just not there.
Yeah, but with the gray area, it also allows a lot of leeway for morality to affect this jury.
Well, but the problem is that like you have to remember that like it depends though, right? Are you doing it at the federal level? Are you doing it at the state level? Or are you taking into account local law? And there's also, I remember the word now, precedents. You know, if in this state or in this like specific area or these local laws they've had this precedent, then perhaps the federal law may not apply there because they have their own specific rules. So
yeah, but these puss boys won't do that with the fucking Second Amendment.
well, I mean, look at California. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Look at California.
Fucking California.
That's all I'm gonna say about the Second Amendment. There, hey, you guys. I wouldn't want to live there if I were you.
There's a reason they're all using 1911s instead of clocks there.
Nobody.
No, they can't even use 1911.
They can't even use
The only
1911s
people that like
anymore.
California are Californians.
Here, let me show you a case of a California compliant rifle.
Oh god.
California compliant.
Yeah,
be
you
a
guys are gonna fucking.
You
it
might
gonna
as
be
well
a
just
sissy?
jump back to World War One and like run a fucking Mauser.
No. It would be more. It'd be better to be using a fucking Springfield.
It's still loading.
Look in general and look how fucking come and take what's left of it.
Yeah, it's honestly though, like moving on to gun laws, I find so many gun laws are just
Actually-
fucking dumb.
So I want to talk about gun laws.
No.
Gun laws are stupid. I wouldn't go so far as to say every one of them is infringement on the Second Amendment. Like,
Yo, if I was president, I'd take it all the way back to 1934, because at least then it's fucking obtainable, because we'd still have the barest amount. And then once I'm done with my presidency, I'll have my successor finally eliminate the last piece of gun control. And we finally live in a
here's the thing,
utopia.
right? Like, I believe to a degree gun control is necessary.
I believe to agree that you're a fucking tyrant.
Well,
Come step on my claymore, bitch ass.
how is that tyrannical if I would just want to make sure that you don't hurt yourself or the people around you to use your
I will not
firearm?
hurt myself.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, though,
But
right? At the end of the day, a firearm is a tool, and making sure that people are trained for the tool that they're going to be using isn't outrageous, isn't it? It's like
Not
the same thing as saying, it's the same thing as saying,
But the whole
hey, your
idea
car
is-
can hurt people if you use it improperly, so get a license for it.
Okay, so
I don't see anything
the
wrong with
issue
that.
that is that you're essentially inviting the government to control items meant for combating a controlling government.
I can see your point in there, but I mean, at the end of the day,
I mean,
though,
they have been taking this too far, and they're increasingly encroaching every single day.
That's
Well,
true.
that's true, but I mean, the thing is that it's more of a. I would argue it's more of a for cultural and
But
for
you see, the
societal
thing is,
reasons
we
rather
didn't
than
have
tyrannical
these issues
ones.
in the 60s when people had fucking machine guns towing them around. It wasn't an issue. It became an issue when fucking politicians started instituting gun control.
But is your argument that gun control is the source of the reasons why we need gun control? Is
No,
that
what
what
I'm arguing is that the state is trying to slowly, piecemeal by piecemeal, take away our Second Amendment rights until we're at the point where we don't even know what we're allowed to carry, and they can just finally take it all away.
I mean, I would agree that you do have a point when saying that. It's just that, like, I feel that, like, yes, reverting a lot of the changes is definitely probably necessary. Like, a
Pretty
lot
much
of them
go
I
back all the way
find
to
don't make ideas.
1934. All
But
that is you have to get a gun. All it is you have to have a clean background and certified to use it, and pass the test to say that I'm not a retard who doesn't.
But what
Who
about
doesn't
people?
negligent discharge?
Yeah, I would agree with that. At the end of the day, yeah,
Go all the way back to
you need to be certified to
1934.
not be a retard.
Because every measure of gun control you just said we already have, and we have 6 times more.
I know, and what I'm saying is that the additional stuff is just unnecessary. It's the same thing here in Canada. You get a license for, either your hunting or restricted firearm. You get the training relevant for those categories of firearms. But the part which boggles my mind is arbitrary rules. Like, for example, pinned magazines. Why the fuck would you pin a magazines and then arbitrarily limit it to, like, 5
Might
or
as well
10
just
rounds?
fucking go back all the way to 1940 and get a Garand. So that way you can
no,
load it with
I
a
mean-
stripper clip.
It's just retarded to me because it's like, okay, you're pinning a clip to stop somebody from having a high capacity magazine, but you do realize pins can be drilled out, or you can just illegally obtain bigger clips.
Okay, so there was this
So
one
it's
thing
like,
going on. Okay, so there was this one case.
What is the point? I don't
Yeah,
understand.
there was this one case where this guy was like making his own lower receivers without serial numbers, and the ATF was about to, this is like, this is a pretty big case. That's untraceable guns. You're about to go to jail for a long time, Buster. They were about to like lock him up for like 30 years until they found out one thing. What he did was entirely legal and is protected by the Second Amendment. If they took him to court, they would say that you don't have to have a serial number on your firearm.
That also confuses the shit out of me. It's like, why the fuck is the lower receiver?
I think technically you just
considered the firearm.
Because one part has to be because these people don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and
right. But it's like, okay, but you do realize the lower receiver, especially on an assault. I don't want to say an assault rifle, on like a firearm, like an AK or an AR-15 platform. Okay, it's fucking pointless. There's a reason why it's made out of shitty aluminum, because it's interchangeable. The more important parts are things like the bolt or like the barrel. Why aren't those the things you track?
Without damaging the firearm.
It's like, it boggles my mind how stupid these fucking rules are. It's like, I'm all for having some level of gun control. When you have people who don't know guns trying to make
it's weird when they say it's weird when they have to define. Isn't it weird when they have to define the gun because of a certain part? But when you modify a different part of the gun that isn't the lower receiver, it's still considered a modification to that gun, and you need a federal stamp for it.
Yeah,
like if I put a suppressor on my gun, the suppressor isn't. The suppressor doesn't go on, like, the suppressor goes into the barrel. The barrel isn't legally considered the gun, but it still is considered a gun modification.
Alright, so, in your opinion, what would you define as an assault rifle?
What I would define as an assault rifle is a
fucking M16, like Jesus Christ.
Okay, not an M16. Assault rifles fall under a lot of categories. Yeah, you know?
Yeah, like
I would define it.
I know the
I would define it by category. I would define it as a firearm that fires an intermediate category.
Well, what's an intermediate category?
An intermediate category would be something between the upper limit of a pistol caliber, so something like 50
That's
AE.
9 mil.
And no. Like, there are a lot bigger pistol caliber rounds. So something like 50 AE, big honker rounds, and something in between, I'd say 7.62 is a pretty good.
But you know what?
A rapid-fire magazine-fed automatic rifle.
You know what kind of guns fire that kind of ammunition?
Okay, I get your point. I get your point here, right? Because theoretically you can put any bullet into anything.
Exactly.
You can technically put 5.56 in a pistol or a pistol gripped, like, magazine fed, short 2.5-inch barrel type weapon. So something like a pistol. Fuck, you can even make it blowback if you really want to make it pistol mechanics. And that'll really fuck up your hand. But hey, I mean, the thing I don't understand though is that, like, why would you call something arbitrarily an assault rifle and give it arbitrary results when you have concrete examples that you could utilize that have core features that you can use as the standard?
Here's something.
Like, the main reason why assault rifles are assault rifles is a high rate of fire of an intermediate cartridge. You're not shooting a lot of fucking tiny 22 LRs that are at most gonna wound. You're shooting 5.56, you're shooting 5.45, you're shooting 6.5, things that can 1 or 2 hit kill people, that have very high wounding capabilities, but are still controllable under fully automatic fire. Those are the qualities of an assault rifle.
Well, what about battle rifles? That also applies to battle rifles.
I mean, yes, but no.
It depends on how beefy you are to handle a full auto.
I mean, I'll be real with you. If you can fully automatic control a 7.62 by 51 NATO, like, holy fucking shit,
bro.
you got...
Bro, are you fucking mag dumping your foul? God
dude,
damn.
we need to ban that guy's trigger finger.
You're a real fucking chonker of a man, then.
Yo,
holy shit.
Wait, bro. Did you seriously just fire controlled burst M14 automatic fire? Bro.
So let's say that something cannot fire a certain cartridge. Well, let's say you can like they say that they specifically word it the way that anything that can fire this cartridge is banned. But there's a weapon that can be converted easily through just, switching, for taking apart and switching out a few parts. Something that can be converted to fire that cartridge. is that weapon now illegal to fire in both? Is that weapon just illegal because technically you can? Because technically that attachment isn't a part of the gun, and you can be modified to fire that cartridge. Is that how that works now?
This is what happened. Yep, exactly.
This is what fucking happens when you try to make a bunch of arbitrary shit illegal.
Yeah, you can totally do it.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can rechamber a weapon, and it doesn't make it a different weapon. And technically, that weapon can fire this other cartridge. So if you make that illegal, is that weapon just illegal now? It's the same thing you were talking about with like the anything that can any device that can with the copyright laws, any device that can send a message to another device or some shit. It's like now you're getting into the territory where technically any gun can be recartridged to shoot another, like can be rechambered to shoot another cartridge. So does that make every fucking gun illegal?
Yeah,
pretty much.
It's really fucking honestly.
It's supposed to be vague so the ATF can arrest whoever they want.
That's essentially what it is. It's that they were telling. That's what they were saying. They were like, yeah, now that when your assault weapon is illegal, you just send a request to make your AR-15 classified as other weapon. And 9 times out of 10, if you pay the tax, they'll send you the fucking stamp, and it's just a tax on people with AR-15s.
Honestly, it's just terrible, and in my opinion, it's mostly detrimental. Like, for example, the ban on suppressors. Like, okay, let's be real here. You can ban suppressors, but like, what does that do? Suppressors aren't like suppressors in movies. They don't.
Yo, what if I just take out my powder and replace it with primer?
What if I take a steel rod? Okay. So our suppressors.
Let me just finish my point.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So suppressors are illegal, right? Or they're heavily restricted in a lot of areas, right? But why? Right? I know what the common thought is that, oh, it's because, it makes your gun quiet and it makes you really good at doing crime. And it's kind of like, okay, I can see your point. If you're firing
a subsonic... hear you, though.
Well, I can see your point if you're stupid, but they still make a shit ton of noise.
I can see your point, right? Because if you're firing a subsonic round, like, for example, if you've got a 45 ACP, let's say, that's a subsonic round, you can do a lot of damage because it's a big bullet, and you can still theoretically kill people and, it'd be very quiet. I can understand why you're afraid of that. But aren't you fucking over, like, everybody else who has legitimate reasons to be using them? Like, for example, if you're in the range, using a silencer can save your hearing. It's a legitimate medical It's a legitimate medical concern for a lot of people who own and operate firearms in safe and legal ways. And especially if you're using them in more urban or closer to larger population centers, this can reduce a lot of noise pollution. It's kind of like, in my opinion, it's like the one rotten apple spoils the bunch. Yeah, that's also another thing, right?
So it's like, oh, you live in a woods, but you're still. It doesn't matter how deep in a woods you are and how far away you are from people. That shot echoes out. And, it's probably kind of a fucking asshole move to have people listen to you fire off some rounds on your property.
So, like, at the end of the day, like, it's... having the general population owning suppressors is just a boon to everyone. But because of some potential negatives, we just go, okay, we ban it. Which is like one rotten apple spoils the bunch. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. You're throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
You're punishing everyone for the crimes of a few. But bro, it stops crime. It doesn't stop crime.
I mean, honestly, I can kind of see the argument for no suppressors on pistols, right? Okay, it kind of makes sense. Because, most felonies, especially with firearms... Are committed via handgun. And a more silenced handgun definitely would make it easier. Especially, like I said, if you're firing something like 45 ACP or 9mm subsonic. Okay, you have a point there. What about when
they put a suppressor on their 50 caliber rated snipe and blow your head off from 500 yards?
Bro, I wish.
That's the thing, right? Like, you can't suppress large caliber rounds.
You can't. You can't do it.
Whoa. Let me just talk about that. How is it even possible to suppress 50 cal BMG?
Very carefully. But that's the thing, right? Like, for these larger caliber rounds, and especially intermediary rounds, the thing that makes them so potent is their velocity. regardless of how you suppress a 5.56, 5.45, regardless of how much you suppress a 7.62 by 51, what makes them so deadly isn't their weight, but it's their weight and their velocity. And if a bullet is moving at 2.5 times the speed of sound, it's going to leave a supersonic crack. It's going to be loud as shit regardless. You can search it up on YouTube. Just watch people
this whole
suppressing.
Thing. Okay, so I'm just gonna go into this
subsonic 5.56 is about as effective as 2.2 LR.
For the people who don't know, who are listening or watching. So there's the bang of the firearm. That's the gas leaving the chamber. A suppressor takes in the gas and it disperses it slowly, so that it won't have that huge pop. The problem is that there's a huge crack. They call it the report. It's the sonic boom of the weapon. That is always extremely fucking loud as well. You don't get that unless you have a subsonic round, a round that travels so slow that it's just below the speed of sound. So that way, but some of these rounds are designed so that they're small and fast, so that they're specifically designed to go. They're specifically designed to go through armor. They have to go at a certain velocity to work anyway.
It's not that.
So.
It's just literally basic science. Okay. Energy is equal to mass times velocity, right? The faster something is and the heavier something is, the more energy it has. So if you want a bullet that doesn't have a lot of mass, so it's, lighter for your soldiers to carry, or so it's more controllable in recoil impulse, then you have to up the velocity. And that's what intermediary bullets are, right? Your assault rifles, your AKs, your AR-15s, they all fire bullets that are very, very small in comparison to something like 50 BMG. But they go incredibly fast, so they can still kill shit. So it doesn't matter how much you suppress it, because if you put it into a subsonic round, it's basically a very small bullet moving very slow. And at that point, you're basically a pistol. It's a small, slow bullet. And it's a really shit pistol, because you're firing it out of a fucking 11-inch barrel, so you don't even have concealment on your side. It's retarded. My point being, why are suppressors banned? Give AR-15 suppressors. It just helps out the gun community immensely.
Motherfucker, I have tinnitus. I want a suppressor. Can a nigga get a suppressor?
Before the FBI arrests us for questioning their supreme authority and throws us into Guantanamo Bay and makes us suck on cock-meat sandwiches, let's change the subject.
All right.
I actually had, really quick, back to the copyright shit. Did you guys see the fucking video from, I don't know how to pronounce his fucking name. It's YMFAH. He does a lot of Dark Souls content. And he does
Dark Souls. I don't.
Yeah, he does the How to Break series, and he released a new video. It's so great. It's called How to Completely Break YouTube. It's called How to Break YouTube. Copy claim your own videos. It's fucking genius.
Yes. Yo, a fucking friend of mine is doing that as we speak, because all his videos get instantly demonetized, because apparently it's repeat content, because he's using text-to-speech device for horror stories. And he's copywriting his own vids for money. Yeah,
you could remonetize it through, if you create a bullshit organization and then put over 30 seconds, over 50 seconds or something of your own music. Just go on Fiverr and pay someone to make original music. You go and you put over 30 seconds of it in your video, in the intro and outro, and then you just submit a copyright claim to your video, and then you copyright claim it, and you can make money off of it. Not only that, but if somebody else claims your video, you can cancel their copyright off of it, because it's the same thing that happened with Jim Sterling with a copyright deadlock. If people didn't know that, essentially...
That's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, essentially with Jim Sterling... So here's how it worked with Jim Sterling. Okay, he's what happened... Listen, just hold on. I'm going to explain this. So what happened with Jim Sterling was that multiple companies copyrighted it, started copyrighting his videos at one time, music companies and game companies, because he had trailer footage, and that's when he just started putting all this shit into his videos. He's like, okay, what happened was that somebody Electronic Arts had I don't know if it was, anyway, I'm just gonna say Electronic Arts. Electronic Arts has a claim on their video that's monetized, so that so they get money off of it. And then another company has it on there that's not monetized, and it's like, well, what are you gonna do? You can't run ads on it if somebody has a not monetized copyright on it, so it cancels out all of them. And then this guy, this fucking genius, is just... Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, TLDR, what Jim Sterling does is he puts as much copyrighted bullshit in his videos as possible so that he basically sicks all these fucking copyright, like, bullshitters on each other, right? But this absolute fucking mad lad realized, wait a second, if I can't beat him, join him. Copyright my own videos.
It's in the topic
fucking
chat. And of
brilliant.
course, it'll be linked in the description, but holy shit, it's so fucking good. Just watch the video. You can literally, not only can you make a demonetized copyright strike and just wipe anybody's monetization who's falsely copy strike your video, but you can now monetize your unmonetized videos from doing this. It's the most retarded thing in the world.
Jesus Christ. See, all of us have been on the wrong side, you know? We've all been like, oh, we can't, we shouldn't stoop so low, you know? We gotta play by the system of YouTube's rules. But then this mad lad's just like, wait a minute. We can just play the same game. Oh, that's like a 40 checkmate right there.
Alright, so from back to 200 IQ moments to 0 IQ moments, look at the little fucking vid I posted in general. Just listen closely.
Yeah, it seems like he was just the kind of athlete, the kind of star that was perfectly cast on the Los Angeles Lakers community.
What the fuck?
The Los Angeles niggers.
We're gonna have to edit that out, Neo.
Yeah, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
The Freudian slip right there.
The Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah.
The LA niggers. It's all black people.
Her career is dead.
Yeah.
Her career is fucked.
You're gonna see a bunch of like K-pop, like
speaking
Twitter
of YouTube
stands.
and alternate media, here's the thing with mainstream media.
Like Dio said, you guys want to talk about K-pop?
Hell yeah.
K-pop.
How they tried to cancel H3H3? Yeah, that was so stupid. He called it a gay twink fetish, and they all got offended for no fucking reason.
K-pop fandom is garbage.
Because it is. It's fucking trash.
What's your guys' favorite K-pop groups, if any?
Twice.
BTS, since they got fucking drafted.
My favorite is Blackpink, simply because I like watching people suffer.
Twice. Because my friend introduced me into the music when we were working out one time. We were just in the weight room.
Imagine being the Chad North Korean artilleryman that nails the BTS boy band all with one shell.
Oh gosh.
Oh my god.
Extermination.
I like how fucking Twitter was just like petitioning the South Korean government to like pardon BTS, but no, they got drafted.
Fuck you.
They got drafted? What the fuck?
Yeah, because Korea has an all males serve in the military policy.
It's mandatory.
Yeah.
Damn.
They still have the draft, so all males in Korea are basically a part of the reserves.
Yeah, and BTS just got drafted.
Damn,
so,
well fucking rip.
Oh my god, I fucking love that.
I think there was like a tweet, like it was like R.I.P. Etika, and then some fucking K-pop stan was like, if he stanned Luna, then he would still be alive. Like, it's so fucking weird.
A man has fallen into the river at Lego City. Build the rescue helicopter.
Let me check the fucking recording time. How many hours fucking...
I think we're almost at 2 hours, so we should get interrupted.
It's been like an hour.
At an hour.
It's been like an hour.
We
could end it. We're still on a roll. Let's do some shit. I'm gonna skip some topics that I was gonna go into an article. I don't think we really need to. Also, I'm gonna be cutting this up.
Next time.
Yeah, we'll do it. We got plenty of fucking. Now that we got this going, I think we can meet a little more often. This is going pretty good. Anything else that's been happening recently?
A man has fallen into the river at Lego City.
In Lego City?
Yeah, in Lego City, bro. A man has
that
fallen
reminds
into
me
the
of fucking, what was it? Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or whatever the fuck it's called.
Hey!
Stop right there, criminal scum.
She should have stand
Luna. Rescue helicopter.
If anybody ever reads manga on manga art, that got fucking shut down.
Yeah. You mean manga rock?
I don't.
Manga art.
Yo, Dio has been reading this. Dio has been reading this 10 out of 10 manga he's been talking about nonstop called Dog Nigga.
It's actually good.
Shut
it's
up!
So
I hate
funny.
that
It's
manga
so
exists and it has
funny.
that name specifically.
You just like there's
Let
a
me see.
school shooter,
Hold on.
right? And
I'm gonna-
it cuts to his
Go ahead.
feet, and it's just a pair of black Air Force Ones, and I fucking died. Holy shit!
I want you to die.
Hold on, where's the fucking official
see.
announcement? There's a fucking They switched to an official announcement. They had this whole comic. They had this whole comic. But hold on, where's the official announcement from Manga Rock? As we announced previously, we have removed all reading features from the website. Now, when you visit each title's info page, you can no longer read the whatever. You just can't read them. It's like instead we have added features that link each title in Manga Rock to an official content provider site, where you can support the original authors and their work. Disclaimer: we do not receive any referral fee from this. In the meantime, our team is still working on Project Mr. Comics, where we hope to make comics more accessible to everyone. We will share the details soon. Anyway, before it was there's that, but before it was this fucking comic. They may have gotten backlash from it. That's why they may have taken it down. Unless it's just I have to click on a specific comic to get a specific manga to get the comic. But it was this thing where they were like, to explain why we discontinued Manga Rock. Here's a comic. We take mangas, we make scans of them, and then we translate them. But this very much hurts the original author, even if it is even if it's a fan translation to a title that doesn't have an official English translation. It very much hurts the author. It's like I don't know if that's don't take this word for word. They didn't specifically
like
say
they have
that, but
a
it
gun
seemed like
pointed
that's
to
what
their
they were
head.
hinting. It seemed like it was something they were just doing to appease someone, and they were like, "We're not being threatened in any way. We're doing this out of the goodness of our heart." And it's like, bitch, you ran a piracy site for how many fucking years?
Yeah, they
Morality, the morality of piracy.
they
not
literally
that
had a gun
we're any
pointed to
fucking
their
better,
head.
but I'm just sitting here like, yeah, motherfucker, go ahead.
At least we admit what we're
At
doing.
least
is
we're
illegal.
pieces of shit.
Yeah, we admit what we're doing is illegal, but bro, like, I'll buy the official product if your fucking customer service wasn't ass.
Yeah,
some of
like,
these
there's
mangas.
some
See, some of
things
these
that just don't
mangas
have
I'm tempted to
translations.
actually. Some of these mangas I am tempted to actually buy, but
I'm not
also
gonna buy any of them. I'm sorry.
some
a fucking
maybe.
waste of money.
Still though, I like supporting
Alright.
creators. You know me, but
Like, the thing is that
Yo, before we just say something that gets us fucking indicted in the civil court, I think we should just end the fucking podcast right now.
I don't know what you
Bro,
do.
like, we just talked about deregulating gun laws. I'm pretty sure we don't need to talk about piracy. Like, this video will be brought up in my court case.
which court case?
When Alex Jones goes to court, we'll be his witnesses. Fucking.
Hans goes to court.
Yo, fucking Alex Jones showed up to the Richmond protest in the fucking armored vehicle.
Yeah,
Because
fucking.
he's gonna fucking die.
Honestly, like Alex Jones is such a good meme. I love that man.
I love
He's
Alex
like-
Jones.
He's not the.
He's
He's
so-
not even the worst fucking. He's not even the worst. Like the actual worst conspiracy theorist.
He's so fucking crazy that it brings a single tear to my eye every
You
time.
know
I
what's
listen
worse?
to him.
When some of his conspiracy theories end up being true.
Yeah.
Well, okay, here's the thing, right? I think one of the reasons why America is so fucked right now is because they have devolved straight back to tribalism. They're no longer at the point where they want to listen to what the other side has to say, and that just further drives people deeper into their trenches.
Yeah,
you know,
fucking
there used to be a time where we would look at someone like Alex Jones, we'd be like, okay, let's listen to what he has to say, and everybody would individually think that's really fucking retarded. You know, we wouldn't need to, media wouldn't be doing this whole song and dance making fun of them, you know, because just let the man speak, you know, let his opinion speak for himself. You know, they're turning the frogs gay.
Yeah.
Just listening to that is enough to make me go, yeah, okay, I can't take this man seriously.
I've heard that there might actually be some factual information
Like,
behind
I-
that, but like I get It's like, yeah, it sounds pretty
no.
fucking crazy. Most people in general.
It
just
sounds
hearing that for
crazy, but
themselves
it honestly, let's be real here. He may actually have a point, because a lot of plants are dumping, a lot of hormones and chemicals into the water.
I'm sorry,
like
Dio,
estrogen.
does that account say trans ethnostate and have the
Yeah, it does. There are actually people that want to trans ethnostate, and it's fucking gross.
No, I'm talking about the Albanian flag, bro.
Oh yeah, it's gross.
There's an Albanian flag, trans ethnostate. It's honestly,
Anime profile pic.
Yeah, it's such a fucking meme.
Here's the problem, right? Like, you only responding to extremism with more extremism just creates extremists.
Yeah.
Like, I'm. Why has America
Are you
not
a
learned this
centrist?
lesson?
What
Are
are
you
the
a
biggest
centrist?
fucking
I'm
problems?
a
Oh my
centrist.
God. Here's one of the biggest.
I hate Nazis and communists. Can a nigga not do both?
Damn.
Fuck the left and the right.
Guys, here's one of the things I've seen that's so fucking true. From Lacey Green, out of all people, from one of her new projects. She was talking to this guy, and he's like, "What I think is the problem with the internet is that nowadays when people see, it used to be it's like you see something that you don't think is factually correct, you go and you see an expert on it, right? Nowadays it's I see something that I don't think is factually correct. My response, like people's response now, is I'm going to go become an expert in that thing in 5 minutes with a Google search, and then I'm going to come back and pwn you."
Yeah.
Bro, you got pwned by facts and logic.
Yeah,
the
everybody
problem,
wants
right?
to be a little Ben Shapiro these days.
It's
Speak
like
of Ben Shapiro, his sister, though.
his sister's fucking hot. Oh shit!
I'll keep posting pictures of her fucking tits.
I'm gonna post
Have
them.
you seen them?
I've seen
This shit's
them.
perfect, dog.
Massive cocks on the skirts, bro.
Yo. Not gonna lie.
Do
The Kobe Bryant. They're making memes about his death.
They're already making
holy
memes about
shit.
Kobe Bryant's death.
Yo. They do this with everyone. They do this with everyone.
It happened
that's-
2 hours
It's fair
ago.
game, to be honest.
Yeah.
Nothing's.
They do this with everyone.
That's the problem,
it's not
right?
that it's
Anything for
necessarily
a drop
funny.
of clout.
Yeah, it's not that it's necessarily funny. It's just that it's like
It's more the speed.
It's not funny.
yeah,
it's just
the
how
speed
fast.
that they release it. It's autistic. How
Could you
fast
imagine
they
if
are
we had
doing
fucking
it.
9/11 memes on 9/11?
Yeah,
There
imagine
probably were.
if like on the internet 5 minutes after 9/11 they have fucking memes about it.
It was
Oh
like
my
too
God.
soon. Too soon. That's too soon.
That's too soon, bro.
Too soon, guys.
That's too soon.
I really need to fucking stop.
The body is still warm.
Anyway.
The body is literally still warm. The
Literally
helicopter
still warm.
crashed and burst into flames.
Yeah.
He is still very warm.
The crash site is still warm.
Oh my god, that's fucked.
We need to
His
fucking. We need to
His
fucking
children's
stop.
bodies are still warm.
Yes.
Oh, that's
I
even more
don't think
fucked.
the children's were on the helicopter. That's
It's
okay.
rumored. It's rumored.
Well, yeah, but see, then
rumored.
but that's even better because then the children's bodies are still warm.
Oh god. Some like weird ass fucking pedophile comes out from the woods.
Okay,
They're
we're gonna
still
call it
warm.
a night, folks. The Super
They're
Legion
still
of this has been the Super Legion of Assholes, everyone. Wonderful podcast. Tio, thanks for having all of us.
Yeah, thanks
we
everyone
really
for
need to end
watching.
before we get fucking yeeted off
Yeah.
by YouTube.
You know,
Tio, me and you are gonna talk privately. I am going to end your life.
you know, guys, we're gonna go plug our channels. You know, you can see these fine gentlemen at I don't know their Twitter handles.
YouTube.com/lickmyfatnuts.
Is that actually your channel?
And
Follow
No.
me on my
Okay.
OnlyFans.
Should
I
be.
have pictures of my butthole.
you know, you can follow this guy on Twitter at BigFag29 or something.
Faggot
At Mom
Balls
Spaghetti.
69.
That's actually my Twitter. Mom Spaghetti.
Alright, I'm gonna fucking
That's his
close
Twitter.
recording.
Okay, fuck you later.
Okay.